Good afternoon. Welcome to the Spring 2022 induction of Phi Chapter to the Phi Theta Kappa at Weatherford College. You may be seated. For a second, I'd like to take a moment so we can all give another round of applause to Will Jones for the wonderful music that he has provided us with today. Thank you all for coming and celebrating the hard work of our Weatherford College Coyotes. First, I'd like to introduce you to the Phi Chapter officers and advisors. My name is Faith Blair, and I am the Phi Chapter President. Vice President Stephen Baer, Vice President of Activities Tracy James Bird, Recording Officer Jessica Kilman, Public Relations Officer Sydney Schultz. Our advisors are Ms. Dana Orban, Ms. Lauren Tidwell, and Ms. Sharon Johnson. We would like to recognize and welcome some special guests that are here this afternoon. Please stand as your name is called. Dr. Todd Allen Farmer, Weatherford College President and Phi Chapter alumni. Mr. Brent Baker, WC's Vice President of Institutional Advancement. WC Board of Trustees member Leela Morris. Dr. Alex Ebay, Dean of Humanities and Science. Mr. Doug Jefferson, Associate Dean, Student Development and Wellness. Mr. Michael Endy, Vice President of Academics and Student Services. And Dr. Deborah Jogi Kreger, Director of Student Resources. Speaking of alumni, we love having Phi Theta Kappans attend our events. Please stand if you are a Phi Theta Kappan alumni. Faculty and staff members at Weatherford College are key to the academic success of students, and some of them have set aside time this afternoon to join the occasion. Please stand and let us appreciate you and your dedication to students. Thank you. Please be seated.
We have asked the following PTK members to lead us today in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag and to the Texas flag. Ms. Lauren Tidwell, U.S. Army veteran. Tracy James Bird, U.S. Navy veteran. And Anastasia Castelleva, a Weatherford College international student. Please stand and join us as we pledge allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, one indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. At this point, will all veterans and active military personnel please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you, Jessica. In recognizing the importance of the freedom of religion, this country's forefathers set forth protections which allow all of us to express our individual beliefs in our own way. So out of respect for this diversity among us, I ask each of you to take a moment to reflect upon the significance of our time together. If you choose so, continue that reflection as I share these words. As we gather this week as members of Phi Theta Kappa, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to offer our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which further generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world, to serve as servant leaders for those around us, and to be open-minded to the introduction of new ideas. Be with us as we meet our commitments as members of this great organization. We express our gratitude for an opportunity to gather together where we can enforce our society's principles of openness and engagement for all people. For all this, we are thankful.
Thank you, Stephen. At this time, I would like to welcome Vice President of Academics and Student Services, Mr. Michael Endy, to the podium.
Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. On behalf of Dr. Todd Allen Farmer, our Board of Trustees, our faculty, and our staff here at Weatherford College, and to the Phi Theta Kappa inductees, congratulations. This is indeed a prestigious event, and you have been recognized for outstanding academic achievement. In higher education, that's an honor. You have chosen to become members of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. There's no organizational requirements that you be active members, however. Just keep up your grades and you can stay in PTK. I think we ought to shoot for something more than that, though, don't you? What is it that distinguishes honor students from everybody else who just gets high marks? For that answer, we have to look to the roots of the PTK Honor Society. Phi Theta Kappa represents wisdom, aspiration, and purity. The organizational shield has a depiction of Athena, the ancient Greek goddess of war, but she was also known for purity and wisdom. She was the patron of heroes like Odysseus and Achilles, and the 300 who stood at the gates of Thermopylae against the forces of Xerxes. Heroes, leaders, people of honor. They stood for their people in bravery and wisdom. In the Republic, in 375 BCE, Plato spoke of the philosopher king, the knowing leader, the honor-bound seeker of truth. And this is at the root of Phi Theta Kappa. You see, it's not enough to be smart. You have to seek for wisdom. You have to constantly pursue truth with respect and a willingness to share. In his allegory of the cave, Plato spoke about education as the light and how education isn't in our natural nature. He says that human beings are like individuals chained in a cave, together, all facing the rear wall. We can't look right, we can't look left, we can't escape. And as we sit there in the darkness, there are others behind us, and in firelight, they're making shadows. And what we perceive as reality is what they manufacture and show us on the back wall of the cave. And then someone comes along and helps us to break free. And when we break free, we don't go toward the fire and those people who are manipulating our perception of reality. We go toward the light of the sun. And when we escape the cave and we walk into the light of the sun, it's painful. It blinds us. We are inclined to retreat back to what we have always known because it's more comfortable. We have to dare to continue to walk out into the sunlight. And when we do, we begin to see things in a new perspective. We have to then continue to choose to venture forward or to retreat from the light. And while we realize that the light is showing us new things, and we find the truth very much worthwhile, we begin to understand that sharing it is essential. And so we must return to the cave. Returning to the cave is as blinding as leaving it. There in the dark again, we have to adjust. We go back to those who are still chained, and we bring them what we know of the world, understanding that when we first saw it, we rejected it too. You see, sharing truth is rarely something that people are grateful for when it is unknown. But we return to the cave and we share that truth, understanding that we may be rejected, because that new perspective is worthwhile. You see, we don't lead to be thanked, and we don't lead to be loved. We lead because we've been given a gift, and what we do with that gift is how we say our thanks, what we do for others. So I encourage you to embrace the excellence of intellect that brought you to this recognition. I encourage you to celebrate the decision you've made to step beyond your grades, to joining a society of individuals for whom intellect is a gateway to something more. And then I challenge you to challenge yourself to reach for your very best, so that you may share it with others. In that effort, you will be Plato's philosopher queens and kings. You will lead with bravery of heart, purity of purpose, and wisdom. Congratulations on your induction into Phi Theta Kappa's International Honor Society Phi chapter here at Weatherford College. You've made us proud. You've made yourselves proud. You've made all of these people proud. And we look forward to the bright future you will create. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to pause for just a moment. This year, Phi Chapter turned 93 years old at Weatherford College. Happy birthday, Phi. As we look back at our 93 years of history, there are certain people that come to mind that have been history makers. Mrs. Sue Cody, a Weatherford College board member who loves to tell our students the story of when she had to return her membership pin because she socialized a little too much and didn't take care of her studies, so her membership pin had to come back. President Farmer, a Phi Chapter alum, is married to a Phi Chapter alum, whose father was also a Phi Chapter alum, and now his twin daughters, who are currently in Phi Chapter, 3 generations of Phi Chapter members. This is an amazing legacy. There has been incredible leadership that has graced this chapter, dedication and love that guided and pushed students to their fullest potential. Record breakers, path makers, and individuals who just gave their all to help Phi Chapter succeed, all of which we are very thankful for. PTK students are successful. We have seen this over and over again. These students do not live by default, they live by design. We are proud of each student and commend them on each of your academic successes. Thank you for representing Weatherford College, and thank you for representing Phi Chapter so well.
At this time, we will begin the Pledge of Membership. Honored presidents, advisors, and fellow Phi Theta Kappa members, I am pleased to present to you these candidates for membership into our honor society. As chapter president, I attest that these students have fulfilled all the requirements for membership and have been selected because they have chosen scholarship, leadership, service, and fellowship as their hallmarks. I hereby recommend them for acceptance into Phi Chapter of Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society of the 2-year college.
You're about to be inducted into a society of fellowship, which embraces 2-year colleges not only in the great state of Texas, but across the nation and the world. This fellowship is Phi Theta Kappa, and our chapter is affectionately known as Phi. After this induction, you will find yourself among the members in an atmosphere of scholarship, to which you must give yourself in order to fully experience what it means to be an active member and truly create history.
The torch, symbolic of knowledge, which is the servant of wisdom, which dwells with prudence and leads in the way of righteousness in the midst path of judgment. The white rose, representing purity and beauty of life, symbolizing our newly formed intellectual friendships. The Phi Theta Kappa emblem consists of a golden slab keyed at the top and bottom. The gold field, like the insignia of our coat of arms, refers to the golden opportunities available for society's members to learn about their culture and how to give back to their nation. For it shall since gold is the most noble of metals, it shall have further significance to our society, for it shall represent the ability by those who lead with intellectual leadership.
Across the slab, observe a black band representing the ideals which band us together. Shining through the black enamel background are the 3 Greek letters, which are the initials of those 3 mystic Greek words, which stand for wisdom, aspiration, and purity. Behind the band is a wreath. One side is composed of oak leaves and the other is laurel. The oak leaves stand for stability and strength of character, as symbolized by the sturdy oak. The graceful, curling leaves of the laurel signify achievement and success, all attributes for membership to our society. Above the band is the representation of the head of Athena, as Mr. Indy spoke about before, the goddess of learning. In the base appears the mystic Greek letters meaning light, the light of knowledge and learning, the common ideal for members of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. This badge stands as a symbol for the high idealism of our organization and membership in our selected group.
Now that the standards and ideals of this organization have been fully revealed to you, I invite the inductees to rise in order to complete the pledge, which admits you into complete fellowship. I also invite all current members to join them in order to reaffirm your own pledge to the society. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly promise on this, the 27th day of February, 2022, to uphold the standards of Phi Theta Kappa and to make this object and aim foremost in my mind. And I do solemnly pledge allegiance to my fellow members and promise to aid them in all worthy endeavors. Please be seated. The Phi chapter at Weatherford College has a current membership of 518 students. 55 students joined in January 2022. We are very pleased that some of these students were able to attend the ceremony today. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Indy to come up and introduce you to the newest members of Phi chapter.
This is the fun part. This is the part where we sit dignified and no. This is where you hoot and holler. Can you do that? All right, let's get started then. Oh, this is also the part where I remind you, I wasn't in Phi Theta Kappa in my freshman year of college. I don't read particularly well, so if I mispronounce these names, it's because you gave them to them, and I'm doing the best I can up here. So when we're all done, you can go out in the lobby and eat cookies and make fun of me. We ready over there? All right, our first inductee is Emily Allen. Emily is pursuing a degree in veterinary technology. She has a dream job of being a veterinary technician. Our next inductee is Mandy Bess. Thank you. Mandy is pursuing a baccalaureate degree in nursing. Her dream job is as a family nurse practitioner. Her most influential professor is Karen R. Smith. Our next inductee is Terry Michelle Betts. Terry is pursuing a degree in Baccalaureate of Science in Nursing as well. Her dream job is as administrative nursing of a facility. Her most influential professor is Dr. Leon Abbott. Our next inductee is Mayberry Bowe. Mayberry is pursuing a degree in accounting. Her dream job is as a forensic accountant. Her most influential professor is Paula Roddy. Now I'm supposed to make a joke about forensic accounting being accounting for dead people? No, that's not what that is it? Okay. Harvest Eve Bowman is our next inductee. She's pursuing an Associate of Arts degree. Her dream job is to be a writer, and her most influential professor is Dr. Diane Ainsworth. Our next inductee is Kayla Bracino. Kayla is pursuing her degree in social work. She will transfer to Tarleton State University when completed, and her most influential faculty member is Susie Jari. Our next inductee is Paige Elaine Edmonds. Paige is pursuing a degree in nursing. Her dream job is as a certified nursing anesthesiologist. Her most influential professor is Professor Tidwell. Yeah, you. You can keep clapping. Our next inductee is Rihanna Lee Ellis. She's pursuing a bachelor's degree in social work. Her dream job is as an adoption specialist. Yes, that's a cool thing. Congratulations. Our next inductee is Brianna Glick. She's pursuing a degree in chemistry. She's going to pursue a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry at Texas A&M University. Her dream job is as a cosmetic formulator, and her most influential professor is Shelley Hempy. Our next inductee is Kirsten Glover. She's pursuing degrees in LVN, RN, and eventually a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. Her dream job is as a nurse practitioner. Her most influential professor is Renee Smith. Our next inductee is Stephanie Green. She's pursuing an Associate of Science degree in nursing. Her dream job is to be an RN, and her most influential professor is Mrs. Saltau. Our next inductee is Jonathan Harden. He's pursuing an Associate of Science degree. He wants to transfer to Texas Tech University. His dream job is welding, and his most influential professor is Randy Harden. Our next inductee is Amelia Lee Hathorne. She's pursuing a degree in kinesiology. Her dream job is as an athletic trainer, and her most influential professor is Miss Dawn Calden. Our next inductee is Teresa Hutchinson. Teresa is pursuing a Baccalaureate of Applied Arts and Sciences degree in organizational leadership. She's in our first class. Her dream job is to be right where she is, as the executive assistant to the president at Weatherford College. and her most influential professor is Dr. Philip Matthew. Our next inductee is Christy Jackson. Christy is pursuing the Associate of Arts degree at Weatherford College with aim to become a doctorate in psychology so that she can be a psychologist. Her most influential professor is Dr. Leon Abbott. Our next inductee is Tracy James Bird. Tracy is pursuing the Baccalaureate in Science and Nursing here at Weatherford College. Her dream job is as an ER or critical care in underdeveloped areas. Her most influential professor is Professor Lauren Tidwell. Absolutely amazing A&P professor, it says here. I just read what they say on the card. It's not just because she's here. Not just because she's here? No, we hear great things about you. Our next inductee is Laini Nicole Jones. She's pursuing a Baccalaureate of Science and Technology degree. She plans to transfer to Tarleton State University. Her dream job is as an orthodontist, and her most influential professor is Stacy Tyler. Our next inductee is Anastasia Castelleva. Anastasia is pursuing an Associate of Science degree. She'll transfer to Lubbock Christian University. Her dream job is to be an executive chef, and her most influential professor is Mr. Scott Williams. Our next inductee is Nicholas Mayberry. Nicholas is studying veterinary medicine. His dream job is to be a marine exotic vet, and his most influential faculty member is Miss Ensley. Our next inductee is Carol Elizabeth Mills. Carol is a respiratory therapy major. Her dream job is to be a respiratory therapist, and her most influential professor is Professor Tidwell. Our next inductee is David Garrett Powell. David is pursuing a degree in battlefield archaeology. His dream job is to be an archaeologist of some form, and his most influential professor is Dana Ritchie. Our next inductee is Zachary Raines. He's pursuing a certificate in automotive technology. His dream job is to be an automotive technician, and his most influential professor is Mr. Davey. Our next inductee is Jeanette Rios. She's pursuing a degree in kinesiology. Her dream job is to be a physical therapist, and her most influential professor is Dawn Calden. Our next inductee is Harley Ross. She's pursuing an Associate of Science degree in nursing. Her dream job is to be a nurse, and her most influential professor is Miss Libby Sloan. Our next inductee is Sydney Diane Schultz. Sydney is pursuing an Associate of Applied Science degree in business. She dreams of opening her own wedding venue someday, and her most influential professor is Professor Tidwell. I'm checking the handwriting on these. They're all different, though. Our next inductee is Carly Tucker. Carly is pursuing an Associate of Science degree. Her dream job is to be a physical therapist. Gabrielle Williams is our next inductee. She is pursuing a degree in business administration. Her dream job is to be an entrepreneur. Our next inductee is Kenley Grace Williams. She's pursuing a degree in business. Our next inductee is Brittany Williamson. She's pursuing a degree in cosmetology. Her dream job is to be a hairstylist, and her most influential professor is Gail Hennard. Our final inductee today is Mr. Aaron Bears. Aaron is pursuing a degree in theater. His dream job is to be a theater professor, and his most influential professor is James Brownlee. There you go. Can we fit them all in? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for all of our inductees here today?
Inductees, I invite you now to raise your candles so that they might be lighted first.
It's just 30 seconds.
It is now my distinct pleasure and privilege to formally introduce you as Phi Theta Kappa members. Ladies and gentlemen, the spring 2022 induction class of Phi Chapter. I challenge each of you to become active members of not only this chapter, but of our institution and the community. You can make a change in this world by your continued excellence. Please blow out your candles, and you may now take your seats as fellow Phi Theta Kappans.
As our newest members are taking their seat, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that as members of Phi Theta Kappa, we know that we did not make it here on our own. I would like to thank you, our families, friends, and loved ones, because without your support, many of us would not be here this afternoon. We know we are not alone on this journey, so we offer our congratulations to you as well and express our gratitude for your sacrifices. It is my pleasure to welcome you into Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society and the lively fellowship of scholars it affords. I salute you for your accomplishments. I charge you to always explore the truth and to dedicate yourselves to the cultivations of the well-reasoned life, a prelude to service and honor. Thank you. This will conclude our ceremony. Light refreshments are located in front of the auditorium for your enjoyment. We encourage you to enjoy this time to meet and fellowship with other members and their families and friends. Thank you.